everyone, it's Dawn and welcome back. I hope you've had a good weekend and that you're ready for another week of painting. Now, it's a horrible day here, it's pouring with rain and the light is abysmal and my screen looks very dark, so I hope it looks lighter than it does from my end. So here we go, we're going to have a go. If it's not, we'll have to start again, but we'll see how it goes for now. And we're going to carry on with our tree painting. And today we're going to paint two different trees. We're going to do a fir tree and a Scots pine tree. And they're both very simple to do, or simple-ish anyway. So let's get going with our fir tree. Now I'm going to use my hog hair brush because when we're painting trees, they're all about texture. And there's nothing better than a hog hair brush or an acrylics brush for texture. So you can use your ordinary flat brush if you want to, your watercolour flat brush, that's absolutely fine. It'll do just the same job. But if you use a hog hair, you'll get a better texture, or a rougher texture, shall we say. So we need to, first of all, just dip it into our water, and I'll bring my piece of my kitchen towel here. We just need to dab out the excess, as always. And I've got here, on my palette, I've got a mix, because we need this quite dark. So I've got a nice mix of, I've only got three colours, for both. We're only going to use three colours in this whole demonstration. And for this one, we've got sap green and a touch of burnt umber, just to make the green a bit darker. And we're going to load the brush. We may have to load it with a bit more, but that's all right. In fact, let's just do that. Let's bring in a bit more, because I think we're going to need it. So this is how we mix it. And you just keep on picking up the colours until you're happy with it. So that's how we do that. And we are going to pop that down there. And the tree trunk you won't see. This is just a guide. So to start off our fir tree, we're going to hold the brush, our flat brush, horizontally like that. And we're just going to make a line. Now you won't see this line by the time we're finished, so don't worry about it. Don't worry if it's not accurate or it's not straight. It doesn't have to be straight, it's a tree trunk. And then what we do, we turn the brush. Let's just grab a bit more paint actually, because we need it a little bit thicker. So I'm just going to grab a bit more paint from my palette on the side here. No water, just paint. And we start with the corner of our brush. And we just dab like that. And I'm just going to dab out some of the water and pick up some more paint, because that was just a little bit too thin. Ah, that's better, I think. So we start at the corner and we dab. And then we make that a bit bigger like that. And then as you come down the length of the tree, you use more of the brush. So don't rock it like that. Let the brush do the work for you. So just dab like that. And as you come down, you gradually, very gradually, become wider. Make your movements wider as you get towards the base. And you get this lovely texture, especially if you're using these texture brushes. You get this lovely texture and you get this beautiful fir tree. So we're going to carry on. We're going to go right the way down to the bottom. We're going to say goodbye to that tree trunk. So we'll just keep on going right the way down, widening as we go. If you leave some little gaps here, that's fine, because that will represent the gaps in the branches. Right the way down. Leave maybe just a little tiny gap. If you want to see a little bit of the tree trunk, maybe leave a little gap, and then use the flat of the brush, hold it that way up, and you can just flick up for some grasses at the bottom of the tree, just to finish off your little picture. So there you go. There is our fir tree. That was easy, wasn't it? So we'll take off the water of our brush and just clean it out a bit. And put the brush down there. We won't need that brush anymore. And I'm going to pop that to one side. Pick up another piece of paper. In we come. So that will go over there for a second. And now we're going to paint a Scots pine. Now these are fun to do, they really are. So I'm going to pick up an ordinary traditional watercolour round brush. Put some water on it and just dab it out a little. And we're going to pick up some neat, this is burnt umber, this puddle of paint is burnt umber. And I'm just going to pick up a little bit more actually. So we're just going to pick up some neat burnt umber, just like that. Coat the brush, your round brush, with your burnt umber. We're not going to put anything else in that, just neat burnt umber. And what we're going to do with this, now these trees, they're funny sort of trees to paint, but once they're done, they're quite effective. So you'll have the trunk going up like that. But then you've got these little branches that sort of come out in odd places, like like this. So we're going to do that, and they'll come quite a way down the tree trunk. And they just sort of come out in odd places. They really do. And we won't go any lower than that. They don't actually come out that high. They're usually quite high up. So we'll bring this down right to the base, I think. And that'll make it a bit better. And then the trick, or the magic, is to put in it's how we paint the leaves or the foliage, which will define this brush. Now again, I'm going to use a hog hair brush because we need texture. So I'm going to use a round, but again, if you want to use your watercolour round, that's absolutely fine. You do that. And I'm going to just wet it a little and dab it out on my tissue, my kitchen towel here. So it's not too wet. In fact, I think I probably dabbed it all out, but that's all right. And in this puddle of paint here, I've got a mixture of sap green and yellow ochre. And I'm just going to pick that up, coat the end of the brush like that, the tip of the brush. And then what we do, I'll just pop this down there. I'll show you how we do this. We're going to start at the top of the tree and we just stipple. This is a stippling technique. And what we do is we stipple it so that these leaves, they tend to clump around these branches that we've put in. So I'm just going to pick up a bit more paint. So you just dab and let it come over the centre of the trunk a little. So let it clump around these branches. I'm just going to pick up a little bit more paint. You'll have to do that obviously as you go along. Just pick up more paint as you go, as required. And you can fill it in as you need. If you think, oh golly, that's a bit too gappy, because these are quite gappy trees. They're not full trees. They have got quite big gaps. So if you think it's a bit, for you, if you think, oh my goodness, no, I don't want that much of a gap, just fill it in as you want. It's your tree, it's your painting, you can do what you like with it. So this is how we paint our Scots pine tree. And we'll just do this bit down here. Just pick up a little bit more paint, put a little bit more yellow ochre into it. Oh, that's nice, nice rich colour. If you don't pick up too much water with these, or you don't add too much water, you'll get a nice rich colour. So I'm just going to join these up in the middle a bit. Just go back up the middle and stipple lightly. Don't go too mad, she says. So there you go. There is our Scots pine. And if you want to make it a bit fuller, you can just fiddle with it to your heart's content, really. So if you think, no, don't like that, it could be a bit fuller, just play with the colours. You can even mix a slightly different shade of green if you want, just to make it more interesting. And my green's just run out on my palette. So if you want it a bit darker in places, just pick it up and just adjust it as you want to until you're happy with the shape. And I think I am happy with that shape. So there we go. There is, oh, I'll just put a bit more there. This is just me being fussy. So there is our Scots pine tree. And I'll bring our fir tree back so that we can see them both. Let's just move that out of the way because we don't need it now. We're done with this demonstration. And again, if you wanted to, you could just pick up your, let's just, what's left of the green on my palette, which isn't very much. You could just pick up some green here. And if you wanted to, sorry you couldn't see that, all I'm doing is picking up some more green with my texture brush. And all I'm going to do, just to finish off, down the bottom here, you could, if you wanted to, just flick up for some grasses along the bottom, but you don't have to. This is just pure indulgence because it's fun. So there we go. There is our fir tree and our Scots pine tree. So I hope you've enjoyed that and found it useful. And when you come back on Thursday, I will be showing you the final project in our tree series. There are others to do as well. Plenty more to see, plenty more to learn, and much more fun to have as well. So on Thursday, we will be doing a clump of trees. And then I'm going to show you a couple of techniques of how you paint flowers among grasses. So we're going to do a clump of trees on Thursday. We'll put a bank of grass in front of that clump of trees, and I'm going to show you some long grasses and how to put flowers in it. So we're going to do a mini scene on Thursday, so that should be fun, shouldn't it? So there we go. I hope you found that useful and that you've learnt or discovered a new way of adding different species of trees into your landscape paintings. So have a good week, have fun with your paintings, and until I come back on Thursday, have a great day, stay safe, have fun everybody, and as always, happy painting. Bye bye for now.